Pasha Paro, YNS7. Thank you for tuning the replay. So, you already know of course I dove in. Of course I'm diving in, right? Come on, we gotta go down this rabbit hole, right? I'm gonna take you from, showed you the book yesterday. I'm gonna take you from one paragraph in the book, and I'm gonna show you how I got to why your discrimination claims at the workplace don't work for you. It's a story. It's entertainment. I'm not an attorney. I'm not none of that stuff, right? I'm just enjoying the fantasy before your eyes. If you do need any legal counsel or anything like that, please seek an attorney and get that help or get that what you need, because it ain't here. This is entertainment. But let's watch this, okay? So remember, I told you the book, the Civil Resource Manual, you can actually find online. I just wanted the actual book. You know what I mean? I want the actual book. And all it really is like if you went and collected all the pages from online and put them all together and took the time to organize them, took the time to size everything up so that it fitted on whatever page size you wanted it, and then printed it, went to Office Max, because you may not want to print this out your house. You know what I'm saying? It's like 600 pages. I don't know. Maybe you do want to run 600 pages through your printer, your ink, your toner. I don't know. Maybe you do. Right? How much is a pack of ink? So, and the paper, I don't know. Maybe the book is cheaper. Maybe it saves you time. Because then you would have to print it out, bind it, or hole punch 600 pages, throw it into some sort of binder, whatever. Okay, but let's take a look at this, right? So I was skimming through and I wanted to read. I read this one in the book. That's what it looked like online. I don't know if you can see that. But that's what it looks like in the book. All right. So, what we have here is number 30, okay? And I know it's going to be a rabbit hole, but watch how it just watch. Just enjoy the ride, okay? Just enjoy the ride. Give me 1 second here. Hold on 1 second. All right. What's up, Hood? Okay, I'm back. So, because a lot of us, you, me, we go to these, or have gone to these workplaces at least some point in our life, and we wonder why things just don't look and sound right sometimes, right? Okay, so we're going to start here. So, it states that number 30, immunity of the United States from suit, absent express consent. Okay? Immunity of the United States from suit, absent express consent. And what this says is no action lies against the United States unless, and I always really enjoy how when you really get into this stuff, it doesn't say United States of America. Get your notebooks out, and when you come to Y97, we're going to take some notes. We're going to put some likes, because we're going to help the channel get to other people, because this is what we need. This is the entertainment that you deserve, okay? So, no action lies against the United States unless Congress has authorized it. And I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing, because there's people out there, they start at this super high level of comprehension of things, and they want to either, make fun of you for not getting it right away, right? I've been around this knowledge for over a decade, and I learned this and I learned that and I do this, and when you hear me say I've won my own court cases and I've done this, I mean, yeah, they were within a small pool, and my promise to myself was that I would expand into, of course, I don't think there's any one person that's all knowing, right? But I wanted to expand and broaden my comprehension of everything, so I could be like a walking book, a walking civil, so I could be an American. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm growing into, right? So I made a promise myself, and this is what I'm doing. So a lot of people, they want to tell you the information up here, and then they laugh at you when you don't get it, or they want to talk down to you, they want to gaslight you, they want to say, hey, I'm gonna charge you to tell you more, and then they tell you in the same language that you don't understand, because they never gave you any of the things that you need to comprehend before you get to that level, and then they want to make more money off you. So they say, oh, well, come back again, and I'll tell you some more. And you're wondering why it's becoming like a church. There's a lot of people, I'm not down in any religions, but there's a lot of people that go to church every Sunday and you don't see no progress in their lives. Okay, it's a lot of people that pay and go to college and you don't see any improvement when they done. Some of them get worse because now they in debt, right? You see what I'm getting at here. So what good is it to try and dump the heavy, high-level material on you, knowing you might not be ready for it, knowing you don't have the foundation to support it? I'm just saying, just ask yourself that. And then you understand why we starting here. Okay, 6 minutes, 52 seconds in or so, 7 minutes in. Let's get it. Let's get back to it, okay? So, immunity of the United States from suit absent express consent, all right? Now, it's saying no action lies against the United States unless Congress has authorized it. And it says, see all of these case citations, right? Or case studies, right? Or case summaries, or whatever you want to call it, okay? To give you a bunch of them that list why that line is supported. No action lies against the United States unless Congress has authorized it. And it gives you a bunch of them. And then it says the immunity of the United States from suit is all embracing and obtains without regard to the character of the proceedings or the source of the right sought to be enforced. Okay? Feel free. My goal was like, okay, I'm going to read into this. I'm going to expand into this. And I'm going to tell you, I went to the first one right here. I was like, I'm going to start right here at the beginning. Because I was looking at them, and there's a bunch. Like I said, they got Reed versus United States, right? But that's from 1909. I'm not saying that's a problem. What I'm saying is, initially I was like, I'm going to look through all of them. Which I'm going to do anyway. But I'm going to tell you, this book has 600 pages, and I read some of the original, not the original, but some of the Attorney General opinions and stuff like that in the beginning. And then I said, let me just pick a random, thing out the table of contents and read up on it. So I saw immunity of the United States from suit absent express consent. And I was like, okay, I'm going to read that chapter. It's not a chapter. It's not a chapter. It is. It's this. It's from here to here. You see it on the screen. That's all it is. So Pasha, why you rambling about the length of the paragraph? I'm going to tell you, for those that are interested in what this book is and what it can do. One, if you got the right mind to see what you're looking at, and the willingness to explore, it's a whole universe. It's a whole universe to get you started and some comprehension, some things that maybe. Anyway, let's get to it, right? Because what I'm showing you is that this paragraph, this little paragraph, and it's really not even a paragraph when you think about it, because it's a bunch of court case citations that take up all them lines. So there's really only 2 sentences. One of them much more complex, and then the title. So you got 3 lines out of 600 pages. I'm going to show you what I just did with it for you. You know what I mean? CashApp, YNet7. I mean, help me buy the next book. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how much you spend for cable. $200 a month? Internet? $250? I don't know. I don't know what your family household like, right? All right. Let's get it. So I was like, all right, I'm going to look into each one of these. And I started, you got 1909. You got Monroe, United States, 1938. So anyway, I was like, you know what? They got this one down here, 1996. I said, what? I'm going to start with the first one. I wanted to come recent. I wanted to get something recent. Just to get my feet wet with this new resource, right? So I was like, well, hey, this one's the first one in line is 1976. So let me start there, right? All right, so what was this United States versus Teston? Okay, what was that about? Okay, U.S. Supreme Court. Let me make sure I'm showing this to you. Okay, I got you. You're with me. Okay, U.S. Supreme Court, United States versus Teston, 424 U.S. 392, 1976. Okay, and they give you some other numbers. Argued November 12th, 1975. Decided March 2nd, 1976. See, you who the lady that just passed away? The sister to the singer. You too busy sharing that, right? There's people out there crying. Don't even know her. They crying. They done called out of work yesterday. They done told their clients they can't come out, and they don't even know this person. Share this. Share this on your Facebook page. Okay? We going to get into it. So, here we go. United States versus Teston. All right, here's the syllabus. Responded government trial attorneys with civil service grade GS 13 classifications requested their employing agency to reclassify their positions to grade GS 14, contending that their duties and responsibilities met the requirements for the higher grade and were identical to those of other trial attorneys classified as GS 14 in another agency, and that under the principle of equal pay for substantially equal work prescribed in the Classification Act, they were entitled to the higher classification. So how many people do you know, including yourself, go to work, go to a job, and they look and they're saying, man, I'm doing the same work as them, or I'm doing their job and they getting paid this much more than me. That ain't right. Right? How many of them people do something about it? Say something about it, right? And why? Why do you feel like it might be a waste of time? Is it a waste of time? We're gonna get to that. All right? So here we go. GS14, another age, higher classification, but their agency and the Civil Service Commission on the appeal denied reclassification. Respondents then sued. See, this is when people ain't play, because everybody knew what they supposed to know. You know what I mean? They didn't know how many points LeBron scored last night, but they knew this. Respondents then sued the government in the Court of Claims, seeking reclassification as the date of the first administrative denial of their request, right? And seeking back pay. You know, hit that song up, get used to it, learn about that back pay. Pasha Paro. I know you didn't hear that the first 6 times you listened to the song. Back pay. Go ahead, hit the mall up, spin that back pain. Okay, we'll get to that later. So, computed at the difference between his GS 13 salary and his claimed GS 14 salary. So basically he was like, yo, I'm suing from the day I put this request in to become a higher paid person all the way up to now, basically. All right. The trial judge denied back pay, but held that the CSC's refusal to reclassify respondents to GS 14 was arbitrary, and that respondents were entitled to an order remanding the case to the CSC with directions so to reclassify respondents. The court in banc, which is like so when you go to court and there's one judge, you know, that's that. Court en banc is when they have a panel of judges. So like the Supreme Court, the way you envision it with all the little judges sitting up there would be like a picture of en banc, a court en banc, all right? If I'm pronouncing the B-A-N-C correctly. If not, say it to yourself 5 times. Make yourself feel better. Okay, so the court en banc, while disapproving the trial judge's recommendation that the court was empowered to direct reclassification, held that if the CSC were to determine that it had made an erroneous classification, the court was authorized to award money damages for back pay lost. That the CSC's refusal to compare respondents' positions with those of other trial attorneys was arbitrary and capricious, and that the court had power to order the CSC to reconsider its classification decision. Accordingly, the court remanded the case to the CSC to make the comparison and to report the result to the court. So, what held? It's saying here, gives you some little list of stuff that says what held. You know, the Tucker Act for entertainment purposes, which merely confers jurisdiction upon the Court of Claims whenever a substantive right enforceable against the United States for money damages exists, does not in itself support the action taken by the Court of Claims in this case. Okay, so little disclaimer here, just to keep everything. Official Supreme Court case law is only found in the print version of the United States reports. This website and Pasha Paro is provided for general information purpose, and Pasha Paro's review, let me say, is for entertainment and general informational purposes only. Okay. You know, see the rest of the disclaimer for your own and be advised. Okay. So, now, what was cool about this reading here is it mentioned something called, and it said, equal pay for substantially equal work prescribed in the Classification Act. So now my question to you is, what is the Classification Act? Have you heard of that? Right? Hood, what's the Classification Act? So let's take a look at it. Little basic Google search, right? Shows us that the Classification Act is the classification standards program for positions in the general schedule. Now, when you look up schedule in the Black's Law Dictionary, man, it's a paragraph this long. A whole bunch. Anyway, so classification standards program for the position in the general schedule was established by the Classification Act of 1949, which has been codified in Chapter 51 of Title 5 United States Code. You know that thing I'll be talking about? I got the video where I was like the United States Code versus that little religious book. Which one you want to read? Check that video out too. So, the statute establishes the principle of providing equal pay for substantially equal work. Well, here you go. Okay? Introduction to the position classification standards. Yeah, I took my time. I put this together for you. You know what I mean? CashApp Y97. All right? Introduction to the position classification standards. Look at this list here. This is what you get. They tell you all this stuff. Let's go to here. Background. The statutory basis. The classification standards program for positions in the general schedule was established by the Classification Act 1949. We just read that. Chapter 51, Title 5, USC. So it establishes the principle of providing equal pay for substantially equal work. It provides a definition of each grade in the general schedule. Last time you heard grade was school, right? Might be some connection. Directs the Office of Personnel Management, after consulting with federal agencies, to prepare standards for agencies to use in placing positions in their proper classes and grades. States that standards issued by OPM, what was the OPM? Office of Personnel Management, shall define the various classes of positions in terms of duties, responsibilities, and qualification requirements. Establish official class titles. Set forth the grades in which the classes of positions have been placed. Okay, you get what that means. You get what's going on there. So I want to scroll down a little bit here. Skip this, skip that. Well, what all I want to show you on this? A couple pieces here. Broadcast subdivision. No. Y'all can read that later. Okay, hold on. Series, grade. Position. So position, right? Position is the duties and responsibilities which make up the work performed by an employee. I know that sounds like, why should I do that? Okay, maybe you did. So class of position is all positions that are classified to the same schedule, series, and grade, and are sufficiently alike to warrant like treatment in personnel process, such as testing, selection, transfer, and promotion. All right, so you got that. Now, form and content standards. The majority of position classification standards are developed by the OPM and are applicable to occupations common to many or all federal agencies. That's why we need to know what these words mean. I'm going to read that sentence again. Let me make sure it's on the screen. Yep, it's there. The majority of position classification standards are developed by OPM and are applicable to occupations common to many or all federal agencies. Standards for positions existing in one or a few agencies may be developed by the OPM or by a lead agency under the guidance of the OPM. All position classification standards are formally issued by OPM and distributed by the government printing office through subscription. 2, by the way, hit the subscribe button, okay? Because you're only getting this if you subscribe your time. So you might as well go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Get your subscription. Okay. So through subscription to federal agencies and other subscribers. Okay, let me make that make sense because I dropped some stuff in the middle there. So all position classification standards are formally issued by OPM and distributed by the government printing office through subscription to federal agencies and other subscribers. Published standards remain in effect until they are abolished or replaced by OPM. All right. Powerful stuff right there. What else I want to show you here? No, narrative, nope. Point factor, nope. Position cat, no, nope. Okay. So authorities and responsibilities, right? Both OPM and federal agencies bear responsibility for carrying out the general schedule classification system in accordance with principles set forth in law, while OPM has overall responsibility for establishing the basic policies and guidance governing the classification system. Each agency has the general authority and responsibility for properly classifying all of its positions covered by the general schedule. Now, I want you to remember, put that down in your notebook. Agencies. Because I'm going to tell you why that's important in a few minutes. It's all right here. Look, it's all right here. Oh, you're a professional. Okay. Professional work requires knowledge in a field of science or learning characteristically acquired through education or training equivalent to a bachelor's or higher degree within major study in or pertinent to the specialized field as distinguished from general education. Oh, you want to do administrative? Oh, administrative work involves the exercise of analytical ability, judgment, discretion, and personal responsibility, and the application of the substantial body of knowledge of principles, concepts, and practices applicable to one or more fields of administration or management. It's all right here for you. Technical work. You know what I mean? Where I was at, I couldn't go any higher, else I'd have been a T4. I ain't had no degree. They didn't want to let me be a T4. Right? But I was the only one doing what I was doing that didn't have a degree. You know, for me, I get excited about that because I knew going in that's how much harder I had to work. But see, for me, I tell people, I'd be like, I'm not really here for what you call the money. These corporations and companies spend millions, if not billions of dollars on information. My guy. People fighting to go pay $5, $10, $20, $30, $40, $50, $80,000 a year for someone to give them information, when you could be getting paid $5, $10, $20, $30, $40, $50, $80,000 a year to get the information. So if all of us went to these million and billion dollar corporations and without violating any compete clauses, learn non-compete clauses, learn everything about all these different industries, and bring it back home to the community, why aren't we building like the background? This is why they don't want you to talk to Pasha. This is why they don't want you to listen to Pasha music. Because they're going to have us out there doing this in their neighborhood. We're going to be building towers and buildings and banks. Nah, they don't want you to hear that. Why don't you listen to this instead? Why don't you sip some of this instead? Why don't you kill your neighbor instead? This is why I do it, man. Go in there and get the information and bring it home. Now, if somebody knew the information you possess was worth $30 billion, they might treat you different. But then would you respect them? Right? And that's the difference between you was there when somebody was getting started early on and you was helping them do what you could do, and then they got into the run, and y'all, you said I'm gonna go do this and I'm gonna go do that, and then one person get a little further. That's something different. But let's get back into this, okay? So it's all right here, right? What else I wanted to show you? Position management, nah. Use of possession, no. I mean, you can feel free to review this at your leisure. It's all right here. All you gotta do is Google it. Okay? Titling positions, titles, agencies. You'll see that a lot in here. Supervisory titles, right? Parenthetical, student trainee titles, determining grade levels. Sounds like school, right? Classifying supervisory work, mixed grade positions. Okay, let's move on. You get the idea. Because then I want to show you this, right? Because remember we were talking about the Classification Act of 1949. So with the Classification Act of 1949, this is the part of the UCC, okay? So what we just talked about, I'm gonna show you real quick how they have it spread out in all these different parts of the UCC. What we just kind of went through, or what you saw there, 72 pages there. You can read it all the way through. Let me show you how they spread it out in the UCC. So these are the titles, the sections, right? And then these are all the little subsections, okay? So when I scroll down this list, basically every line you see is somewhere that could, every little bit of this lines and stuff is somewhere that contains information about the Classification Act and how it impacts your life. So let's scroll through. I'm just gonna scroll. Watch this. Look at all this. Yep. Yep. That too. Yep. This. Oh yeah, don't forget that. Oh, all of this right here. Yep. Here you go. Here's some more. Don't forget this. Yep. All that. You can carry it all. Right? You got it. You got it. You got it. You see? You see what I'm saying? Bam. Just to make it make sense to you. So when you hear someone that's has done any kind of exploration or research, or whatever you want to call it, you know what I mean, have appreciation for them. They try, even if they don't free you completely, they can set you on your way. All right, let's take a look at this, right? So, the Office of Personnel Management shall determine finally the applicability of Section 5102 of this title to specific positions and employees, except for positions and employees in the Office of the Architect of the Capitol. Here go to Chapter 51 right here. What's the purpose? Right? It is the purpose of this chapter to provide and plan for classification of positions whereby and determining the rate of basic pay which an employee will receive. the principle of equal pay for substantial equal work will be followed, and variations in rates of basic pay paid to different employees will be in proportion to substantial differences in the difficulty, responsibility, and qualification requirements of the work performed, and to the contribution of employees to efficiency and economy in the service. And number two, individual positions will, in accordance with their duties, responsibilities, and qualification requirements, be so grouped and identified by classes and grades as defined section 5102 of this title, and the various classes will be so described in published standards as provided by section 5105 of this title, that the resulting position classification system can be used in all phases of personnel administration. And here you go. Here's the whole thing. So, I'm going to let you review that at your leisure, and we're going to move forward here because remember that word agency it kept talking about, right? Well, agency, if you were in a job or industry, right? It don't even matter. I'm not even gonna say industry because some of y'all gonna be like, I don't have a job. I work for myself. Okay, if you're in the industry, who's running and regulating that industry? At the top. At the top of that pyramid, who's running and regulating that industry? Where do the standards come from in that industry? Who's tell you you can use this salt but not that salt? Who says this chemical is toxic and that one's not? Oh no, I deal in finance. Okay, who tells you what money laundering is? Who sets these rules? Cause see, people laughed at me, and they probably laughed at you too 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when you told them that at the top of every industry is a government agency or corporation or a government-owned corporation entity. They didn't know what you was telling them 10, 15 years ago. Pasha, what do you mean? For entertainment purposes only. You're going to get a kick out of this. So, here's the Federal Register. There's agencies found 432. I'm just going to scroll down this list. And you tell me, what do you do that doesn't fit under one of these agencies? Agency for International Development, Agricultural Department, you already know. Economic Analysis Staff, Economic Research, Farm Service Agency, Federal Crop Insurance, right? Agricultural Marketing Service, okay? National Agricultural Library, okay? National Institute of Food and Agriculture, okay? Hold on, I know you're like, that's food and agriculture. Rural Housing and Community Development Service, Rural Housing Service, Rural Utilities Service. Oh yeah, that's rural. Okay. Air Quality National Commission. All right. You see, I'm just gonna scroll. Broadcasting Board of Governors, right? Census Monitoring, Central Intelligence Agency, right? What job, what industry are you gonna have that doesn't fit under one of these agencies? What's up, Judas? Okay? Economic Analysis Bureau. Foreign Trade Zones, Minority Business Development Agency, National Institute of Standards and Technology. So if you got anything where you weighing out something, I'm just saying, if you got anything going on where you weighing out something, those weights are set by the National Institute of Standards and Technology. I just want you to know that. All right, so all your measurements, you better make sure if you want to do real business that the NIST certified your equipment. All right, so National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, Patent and Trademark Office. Okay, you created something, you send it into the patent office. All right, you getting a trademark. Okay, what are you doing in life in America that the U.S. doesn't have an agency or corporation setting the standards? The Commission of Fine Arts. Okay, you want to be Picasso, or maybe you making some wine. Maybe the wine's not really included, and I just threw it in there. You know what I mean? It goes well with salmon. I don't know. Okay. Future of the United States aerospace industry. Okay, Social Security not an issue. Just scrolling. Look at all these. I'm just saying, what are you gonna do in life? Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. What are you gonna do in life? Crime and Security in the U.S. Seaports Interagency Commission. Of course, we got the Defense Department. All that stuff. Nuclear. Education Department. Oh, okay. All your teachers. You just qualified. All right. Emergencies. Energy Department. Bam. You ain't getting no power related position without them telling you something. Environmental Protection Agency. Spill something if you want to. Spill something. I tip my 40 to my homies. EPA! Right? Look at this. Federal Communications Commission. Oh, you thought you were going to start a cell phone company. Now you're dealing with the FCC. Federal Housing Finance Agency. Notice all these federals. Federal Pay Advisory Committee. Federal Reserve System. Federal Trade Commission. Look. Harry S. Truman Scholarship Foundation. Go ahead, get a scholarship. I dare you. Right? Health and Human Services. Look at all this. What are you going to do in life? Homeland Security, Coast Guard, FEMA, Federal Law Enforcement Training, National Communications System, Secret Service. Housing and Urban. Now you got, you were saying earlier it was rural, Pasha. Housing and Urban Development Department. Federal Housing Enterprise Oversight Office. Government National Mortgage Association. What are you going to do? Who do you work for that don't fall into one of these agencies? You want to run guns? Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosive Bureau. Right? All right, Labor Department. Okay, you see that? You know what time it is when you see that sign. Okay? And if you there, how did you get there? How did you get to the Labor Department? Hold on to that question because we ready to get into that in a moment. Library of Congress. Go ahead, file a copyright. I got some of them. Make sure you got that UCC 1308. Entertainment purposes only. What I like about the copyright, though, is it's one of the few documents that I found of such, application where you can say that it actually has on the digital side, like not that you have to scratch it out and put what you want on there and initial it, but it even has on the digital online version, it gives you the option to say you're a U.S. citizen or you're domiciled. And I respect them for that. So I'm saying. All right, so look, here, you see the list. Okay, I want to, you look, the list goes on and on and on. Who do you work for that there's not a government agency or government-owned corporation somehow at the top? So what is this Office of Personnel Management? The Office of Personnel Management manages civil service of the federal government. Let me stop for a second. Let me go back because it got a comma. We're supposed to take a pause at a comma. It didn't say how long the pause is supposed to be. So I'm going to pause and we're going to go back. Excuse me. I'm going to pause and we're going to go back to the beginning. I'm going to pause long enough to say it again. The Office of Personnel Management manages the civil service of the federal government, coordinates recruiting of new government employees, and manages their health insurance and retirement benefits programs. They also provide resources for locating student jobs. Damn, summer youth got you. They also provide resources for locating student jobs, summer jobs, scholarships, and internships. Go ahead, do that internship at Sony if you want to. LinkedIn. Do that in its internship at the radio station if you want to. iHeart. So, the Office of Personnel Management, what is it? Let's get a little bit more about it. We just read this part. It give you a little bit of their contact information, their website, blah, 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 right? All right. Now let's go exactly to them. That's why I go to the sources, man. I go to the sources. So, what do they say they do? So, our agency, right? Our agency. The U.S. Office of Personnel Management serves as the chief human resources agency and personnel policy manager for Walmart. No, it says for the federal government. The U.S. Office of Personnel Management serves as the chief human resources agency and personnel policy manager for the federal government. Remember the word federal and remember agency. Why? Here, let me go back here. Let me show you why. Let me go back here real quick. Let me go back to the UCC, to the definitions. For the purpose of this chapter, agency means an executive agency, the Library of Congress, the Botanic Garden, the Government Publishing Office, the Office of the Architect of the Capitol, and the Government of the District of Columbia, aka the United States, but does not include a government-controlled corporation, the Tennessee Valley Authority, the Virgin Islands Corporation, the Atomic Energy Commission, the Central Intelligence Agency, supposedly, the National Security Agency, the DOD, the Government Accountability Office, right? Couple more there for you. Here's what employee means. See, this is why I said hang on to the word agency. We kept hearing agency for your entertainment purposes. And they keep throwing this word out, federal. And then they slide it with government, federal government and agency. And it's like, oh shit, right? Employee means an individual employed in or under an agency. They telling you that you're an employee. So an employee means an individual employed in or under an agency. Now, what was agency? The government of the District of Columbia, aka the United States. Office of the Architect of the Capitol, the Government Publishing Office, the Botanic Garden, the Library of Congress, an executive agency. Now, if you don't work for any of them, if you don't work in any of those, then in order to be an employee, you must work under one of those agencies. It says it right here. Employee means an individual employed in or under an agency. Your position means the work consisting of the duties and responsibilities assignable to an employee. Check this out. So, where I want to tell you next. This chapter, right, does not apply to. This chapter does not apply to members of the Foreign Service who pay is fixed under the Foreign Service Act of 1980 and positions in or under the Department of State, which are connected with the representation of the United States to international organizations or specifically exempt by statute from this chapter. Hold on. This is where it starts to get a little real for you. Or for them. I know y'all here with the real. We gotta get it real for them. Physicians, dentists, nurses, and other employees in the Veterans Health Administration of the Department of Veterans Affairs who pay is fixed under Chapter 73 of Title 38. Now watch this. Teachers, school officials, and employees of the Board of Education of the District of Columbia whose pay is fixed under Chapter 15, Title 31. The chief judges and the associate judges of the Superior Court of the District of Columbia and the District of Columbia Court of Appeals and non-jurisdictional employees of the District of Columbia court system whose pay is fixed under Title 11. Members of the Metropolitan Police, the Fire Department of the District of Columbia, the United States Park Police, the United States Secret Service Uniform Division, members of the police force of the National Zoological Park, whose pay is fixed under such and such and such and such. Police forces of the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, whose pay is fixed. They don't want you to have the light because lighthouse keepers and civilian employees on light ships and vessels of the Coast Guard whose pay is fixed under Section 432F and G of Title 14. I don't think our parents knew why they were telling us really to get a trade, but employees recognized in trades or crafts or other skilled mechanical crafts or in unskilled, semi-skilled, or skilled manual labor occupations and other employees, including foremen and supervisors in positions having trade, craft, or laboring experience and knowledge as the paramount requirement, and employees of the Bureau of Engraving and Printing whose duties are to perform direct manual machine work. Da, 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 da. Officers and members of crews of vessels. Civilian professors, instructors, and lecturers at a professional military education school. Some more military stuff there in that paragraph. Aliens or non-citizens of the United States who occupy positions outside the United States. And you can see where it's going here. There's one, number 17 down here. Inmates, patients, or beneficiaries receiving care or treatment or living in government agencies or institutions. Check this out at your leisure. Employees employed on a fee, contract, or piece work basis. Are you work for hire? All right. Come back to that at your leisure. I just wanted to let you know what an agency was, so that you can know an employee means an individual employed in or under an agency, so that when we get here, we understand why there's so many agencies. Because the OPM manages the civil service of the federal government, coordinates the recruiting of new government employees, and manages their health insurance and retirement benefits programs. They also provide resources for locating student jobs, summer jobs, scholarships, and internships. And here's what they say about themselves. Now that we back. The U.S. Office of Personnel Management serves as the chief human resources agency and personnel policy manager for the federal government. It didn't say for McDonald's. I mean, I didn't see that right there in the paragraph. It just had the management personnel federal government. I didn't see federal government, Wawa, McDonald's. I didn't see 3M there. I didn't see Coca-Cola there. I don't see Ford there. The U.S. Office of Personnel Management serves as chief human resource agency for the personnel and personnel policy manager for the federal government. OPM provides human resources, leadership, and support to federal agencies and helps the federal workforce achieve their aspirations as they serve the American people. Now, what is amazing, if you know what we just went over right there, is the last part of that sentence. All of these federal agencies and federal workforces achieve their aspiration as they serve the American people. The United States is supposed to be serving the American people. United States on this side, American people. They paid some writers a whole lot of money or currency, cash or checks or negotiable instruments and benefits to make sure this language was accurate. So if that's the case, and we're talking about the U.S. Office of Personnel Management, how come they didn't say the U.S. people? Or how come it's not called the American Office of Personnel Management if they're here to serve the American people? It's another conversation. We got videos on that. Check out. Scroll through the YNet 7. Go hit the video button on YouTube and just scroll. Scroll. Click the order. Click the order. Okay? OPM directs human resources and employee management services, administers retirement benefits, manages healthcare and insurance programs, oversees merit-based and inclusive hiring in the civil service, and provides a secure employment process. Like, yes, sounds good to me, right? Now remember, I said some people, they want to start you off at the top, and they want to tell you this, they want to use these big words, they don't tell you what it means, and then they want to laugh at you because you don't get it. Then they tell you, pay me, I'll tell you a little bit more. So you pay them, and they still use the big words that you don't know what they mean, and you don't know how you got here, and now you're just totally confused, and guess what the remedy is? Well, pay me some more, I'll tell you some more. You don't learn that way. This is why I spent 10 years studying humans. So I could understand where I failed. So I could know where others are failing too. So key functions, right? Key functions. I'm going to let you check that out because what I really want to get to, and I want to get you to the purpose of this is all building up to what you think is equal opportunity employment. What you think is equal opportunity employment. And this is entertainment. It's entertainment. It's just me. You're supposed to be laughing at this. This is my attempt at comedy. Right? I'm a comedian. This is entertainment. So, what's their mission, right? It says the greatest job in America is serving the people, or serving the public, rather. Okay? So, OPM's history begins with the Civil Service Act, signed in 1883, ending the spoils system and establishing the Civil Service Commission. The commission, led by the energetic Teddy Roosevelt, laid the foundations of an impartial professional civil service based on the merit principle that employees should be judged only on how well they can do their job. In 1978, the Civil Service Commission was reorganized into 3 new categories, or organizations rather. The Office of Personnel Management, the Merit Systems Protection Board, and the Federal Labor Relations Authority. Each of these new organizations took over a portion of the Civil Service Commission's responsibilities, with OPM responsible for personnel management of the civil service of the government. So, we kind of went over what they did, right? Bam. OPM's divisions, offices, and their employees implement the programs and deliver the services that enable the agency, hear that word again, to meet its strategic goals. OPM works in several broad categories to lead and serve the federal government in enterprise human resource management by delivering policies and services to achieve a trusted, effective civilian workforce. human capital management, policy service oversight, benefits, federal benefits for employees, and annuitant. I don't know everything. Okay? Put the pronunciation in the comments if you got a problem with it. Retirement. All right. But anyway, here's the history. This is what I wanted to review real quick. It says, just as the pivotal efforts of the federal workers have helped shape America into the world leader it is today, the early efforts of American civil service leaders helped secure a truly American legacy, a merit-based hiring system where fairness, equal access, and protection for all federal employees ensure a highly effective and nonpartisan force to be reckoned with. Teddy Roosevelt quote down here at the bottom: nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. So remember it said one of the components that it got split up into, the commission got split up into, was this thing called the Federal Labor Relations Authority. If you go look at their structure, right? How did I get here? I mean, it gives you the introduction, it gives you the mission. What's their mission? Exercises leadership under the Federal Service Labor Management Relations Statute to promote stable, constructive labor relations that contribute to a more effective and efficient government. The FLRA's mission to carry out 5 primary statutory responsibilities as efficiently as possible and in a manner that gives full effect to the rights afforded employees and agencies under the statute. Employees and agencies. Efficient government. Now here's why this is important. See, you know how things get you got they're concentrated, right? You got, and then you water, you like, and then you get the, remember that orange juice grandma had that came in a can and you put it in the freezer, and then she would take it out, and you tear the little thing off and the lid pop open and you slide out the little slushy shit, and you was always like, man, I might as well eat this like this, the way it is, man. Shit is cold. It's cold. It's hot outside. I might as well go ahead in on this right now. And she was like, what? Put that shit in there, put the water in there and stir that shit up, make the juice. All right? And you did that shit. Well, that shit was concentrate, right? So by the time you stir it all up, mix it all up, it's watered down, right? It's not, you know that, right? I had to put it out there because watch this magic. So far, we've been following this all the way down, right? We started in the Civil Resource Manual. We went to the Supreme Court or whatever, and now we following down this act, Classification Act, and that, I told you it was a rabbit hole. I told you. We up in here, all right? We got our flashlights. We got our pickaxes. We're going to get the gold, man. Stay with me. So, we almost there, all right? Watch this magic. So, we went all this stuff, and all this time, it's been talking about the federal government, agencies, employees, federal government. Okay. Just wanted to make sure we understood that. Because when we go back to the organizational chart for the FLRA, the Federal Labor Relations Authority, you got this little graph that show you all the little breakdown of who they are and what they do and all the little stuff. Federal Service Impasses Panel, Office of the General Counsel, regional offices in Atlanta, and all this stuff. And then you got the Budget and Finance Division and Human Resources Division and all this little stuff here that say that they're authorities, right? Because the blue is authorities, right? Because people don't know what the word authority means. But right here, is Equal Employment Opportunity Program. Yeah, it's a part of the FLRA. And this is why I'm excited, because like I just went on this rabbit hole from 2 sentences in a book that got 600 pages. I might be at this for a long time. Okay? You understand why I get excited about this stuff? Equal Opportunity Employment Program. Well, what is that? All right, quick Google search survey says it's a neutral program that allows employees and applicants for employment who feel he or she has been discriminated against on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, nationality, national origin, age, disability, genetic information, or reprisal to file an EEO complaint of discrimination. So when you see this little sign on their little applications or on their little door when you walk in to their castle, and it says member of the EEO, Equal Opportunity, you feel good, don't you? You felt good last week, didn't you? Great, fuck all that up for you, because that's what comedy does. It fucks everything you believed in up and makes you laugh at it. So EEO, Equal Employment Opportunity for your entertainment purposes. The mission is to provide leadership, direction, and guidance to carry out NARA's equal employment opportunity responsibilities according to federal laws, statutes, regulations, and policies to establish and maintain a model EEO program. And what's their vision? To foster a work environment that is free of discrimination and promotes equal, fair, and inclusive employment opportunities for the best talent available, regardless of their differences. The Office of Equal Employment Opportunity is a neutral program, and that's kind of like what we just went over a minute ago, right? So the Affirmative Employment Program was established by a statute to help address long-term effects of historic discrimination impacting women, minorities, and individuals with disabilities. And then you go out there and you cheer, yay! Because it's an emotional attachment. See, that's why I had to study emotions, because I'm like a computer. I don't have that emotional shit. I don't have emotional attachments. You got on, off. You got ones and zeros. You got true and you got false. Feel free to look through this at your leisure. This is their website. So, you're like, well, that's large corporations, right? Hey, you cannot discriminate against or harass applicants, employees, or former employees because of all that stuff we mentioned earlier, because of age or because of any of that stuff, right? Small business requirements. Right here. Employers who have at least 100 employees and federal contractors who have at least 50 employees are required to complete and submit an EEO1 report. You thought you were going to ball out? You thought you were going to grow that little bakery to service the whole east side of the country? You're going to need some employees. You're going to need some help. But hold on, let's get technical. Tulane University Law School, rights reserved for them, and Pasha Paro, entertainment purposes. They wrote this. They said, what is or isn't an equal opportunity employer? All right? Look, they got admission chat. Admissions chat. That's what this is. It's an admissions chat for entertainment purposes. So, the phrase equal opportunity employer is often used on job descriptions or at the top of careers section of a company's website. But what does it mean? Dictionaries differ. But one possible definition of the phrase based on federal regulations, there go that word again. Do we know what? We got to make sure that the people around us know what they're reading. That's why you hear Hood. That's why you hear Judas. An employer that pledges not or to not discriminate against employees based on all that stuff we mentioned. That's what they define it on based on federal regulations. Unfortunately, this definition doesn't define each and every situation where discrimination may or may not occur. Moreover, anti-discrimination laws at the federal, state, and local levels often require that employers offer equal opportunity to job seekers. So why bother identifying your company as an equal opportunity employer? Where does that phrase even come from, they ask. The origin of its common use goes back to the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which made equal opportunity employment a federal law. A federal law. The legislation made it illegal for companies to discriminate against employees or potential employees based on all that list of stuff. Title VII of the law established the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, whose main purpose is to investigate claims of employment discrimination. The 1972 Equal Employment Opportunity Act amended Title VII and expanded the EEOC's powers, giving the agency the authority to enforce anti-discrimination laws more directly. Several laws have been passed since the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which further expanded the characteristics that are protected from discrimination in an employment setting. For example, these protected classes may include those list of things that we mentioned earlier and now more, including pregnancy, gender identity, sexual orientation, 40 or over. If it's illegal for employers to disobey labor laws and the EEOC's anti-discrimination guidelines, then it would follow that every business by default should be an equal opportunity employer. So why do companies label themselves in this way? It turns out there are a few exceptions to the federal rules under which certain organizations are not required to follow EEOC guidelines. For example, religious organizations are exempt because hiring people from other religions could be at odds with their mission. What would that look like? Go to church that Sunday. A larger exception is that many small businesses and labor organizations are exempt from the EEOC guidelines if they have fewer than a certain number of employees. And they give you this little summary. If you have a private business with more than 14 employees for at least 20 calendar weeks, or if you have 20 employees all year, more than that, right? State and local government agencies, it says. This is what they say. We saw the 100 and the 50 earlier. They saying 15 get you in the door. 20 all year, you qualify. All right? You see the list here. As small businesses scale up to more than 15 employees, they may find themselves in need of qualified human resources professionals to counsel them on compliance with the EEOC rules and other anti-discrimination laws, such as state and local statutes. Now, Pasha, we just baked a cake, so let's put the icing on it. Because all the way up until now, everything we've been talking about has said federal government agency employees. Federal government agency employees. And that brings us to this right here. And I'm closing on this, okay? Thank you for staying with me. Like, share, subscribe. Share this with the people. But look, here's what all this adds up to. Employment and discrimination. Come check out this. I left it all up there so you can see. You know, if you gotta zoom in or what have you, you can see the websites. So if you want more information that we didn't cover, feel free to explore at your leisure. So the reason I chose this to share with you is because what these people here did, Paychecks Works, right? Paychecks.com, is they basically, okay, let me just give it to you here. Excuse me. They analyzed, and Pasha's giving it to you for your entertainment purposes, 21 years of data from the EEOC enforcement and litigation statistics to better understand employment discrimination in the U.S., or what they call the U.S. All right, so they give you some stuff here. They tell you some things, tell you about the states, tell you all this, right? So, as an example, 48 states have drafted equal pay laws, while Alabama and Mississippi have passed no such legislation, at least at the time they wrote this. Georgia's laws only applies to businesses with 10 or more employees. Despite both state and federal laws addressing discrimination based on race, studies show hiring biases against Black and Hispanic employees hasn't improved at all in over 2 decades. But here's what I'm getting at, because they have an amazing presentation here, and I want to share it with you. I want to tell you what it means from my observation for your entertainment. So when we get down here, we scroll down a little bit. Remember, this is from 1997 to 2018. Here's the numbers. Outcomes of employment discrimination investigations. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission is a federal agency that administers and enforces federal laws regarding workplace discrimination where in the United States. But you got to know where the United States is. So what they found in their study is that there were a total of 1,889,631 complaints to the EEOC from 1997 to 2018. There was only 2 million complaints, but everybody hate their job. But everybody hate how much they making. Everybody feeling like they not getting paid enough for what they do. All right, so 1.8, let's just round it off, 1.9 million claims. 64.3% investigation found no issue. 64.3% the investigation found no issue. From the door, it didn't even we're not even wasting our time. No issue. Non-issue. But look, I want you to think about it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Because if you made this far, I think you either are excited someone else knows this or you learned something. Because everything from the beginning of this video that we talked about, which started, it went as far back as the 1800s and some of the stuff we covered. The whole time it's been talking about federal government agency employees. Federal government agency employees. So either Walmart is the federal government agency connected, or they're not telling you something right. So out of all 1.9 million claims, 64.3% investigation found no issue. Another 18.3% closed for administrative reasons. So what's that? 64, 18, 7, 82, 82.6, 82.6 right there. So out of 1.9 million claims, 83% shut down at the door. Didn't go no further than filing the paperwork. So 8.1% received a settlement. .8% of the complaint was withdrawn by the charging party. So we were at 82.6, we said. So that's 86, 85.4. So 85.4%, because they complaint withdrawn by charging party. You know what that means? They caught them in the lobby. So now we're at 85%. Let's say 86, actually like 87. 3.2% of all the claims are considered for legal action. .4% there was an informal resolution between the parties. We're going to go ahead and give you that, what did it say? We're going to go ahead and give you that reclassification. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Federal government agency employees, 4 keywords. I'm not saying put that in any particular order. This is how I'm listing them because I'm just thinking about them on the top of my head. I'm not even going off notes today. I'm really just freestyling it. Other than having the websites I wanted to show you with the information we wanted to review today. Federal government agency employees is who all of this was built for. Your equal employment opportunity seekers. Eight point 1% reach a settlement. 1.4% receives an informal resolution between the parties. So 9.5% actually achieve their goal in 21 years. Federal government agency employees. Are you one? Who do you work for? Who you work for? Who you with? We be in the roots. I'm Pasha Paro. It's YNet 7. Thank you for tuning. Share. Comment. Subscribe. Help me buy the next book. YNet 7. CashApp sign. $, letter Y, NET, the number 7. Every dollar, I'll get a new book. We only went over 2 sentences and we did all this. All right? Respect.